Okay, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us again on an evening that isn't as stifling as it was last week when many of you joined us for our other event. I'm just going to just go through a few house rules. For those of you who don't know, my name is Steve Winston, and I am the Managing Director of the NJA, the National Jewish Assembly, and we are delighted this evening to be hosting a speaker who's based in Israel at the Rambam Hospital in Haifa, Dr. Avi Weissman. So before I introduce Dr. Weissman, if I could just please ask all of you to keep yourselves on mute. You are more than welcome to switch on your cameras and chat, in the chat. I would ask that if any questions do occur to you throughout this evening that you would like to put to Dr. Weissman, please do use the raise your hand facility at the bottom of your screen, and we will endeavour to put as many of you or give as many of you the opportunity to put your questions directly to Dr. Weissman once he has completed his main address this evening. So I think that's enough from me. So over to introducing Dr. Weissman. I'm just going to spotlight him for everyone. So Dr. Weissman, you're now on everyone's screen. And it gives me great pleasure and honor this evening. I have actually been to Rambam Hospital in Haifa and had a guided tour around it. It's beyond description. It's the most amazing facility, and its underground facility is like something out of some kind of futuristic movie. So back to introducing Dr. Weissman and telling you a little bit about him. He is the Deputy Director of Rambam and has served as the hospital's Director of Medical Operations since January 2014. He is a senior anesthesiologist and the Director of Anesthesia at Rambam's Ambulatory Surgery Center. Dr. Weissman completed his medical training in the Technion's Ruth and Ruth Rappaport Faculty of Medicine in 1988, followed by an internship and residency at the Long Island Jewish Medical Center in New York City. Gosh, 1988, that's when I was on Ulpan, on Kibbutz Magam Michael. His residency at UCLA Medical Center led to a cardiothoracic anesthesia fellowship there in both pediatrics and adults. On completion, he was appointed assistant professor. Dr. Weissman returned to Israel in 1997, where he was appointed as a senior anesthesiologist at Rambam. He acted as the director of Rambam's PACU, the post-anesthesia care unit, and subsequently established the acute pain service at Rambam, where many new and innovative protocols and modalities of acute pain care were introduced. Dr. Weissman is involved in the daily operations of the hospital and serves part-time as a senior anesthesiologist in the Department of Anesthesiology. So, Dr. Weissman, over to you.
Thank you very much for the beautiful introduction. I hardly recognize myself, but most of it is true. As you said, my name is Avi Weissman. I'm the Deputy Director of the hospital. I have 3 beautiful children, 5 grandchildren, and 1 on the way from my youngest daughter, who's about to be a physician in a few months. I'm married to my first wife, Leslie, for the last 34 years, and lived while in Israel only in Haifa. And I will try to point a few things about my path with Rambam during the presentation. So let's start. I'll try to tell you the story of Israel. Basically, unfortunately, the story of the Jewish people in the world a little bit because of what had happened in the last years. So every conversation, every day in Israel, and every family October 7th at 23 is mentioned. Every person in Israel, and I'm sure now a lot of the Jews in the world know exactly where they were, what they did, and what had happened that day. They remember exactly those pictures that were on every screen in Israel every day for the last 3 years. The Bibas family who were found dead in Gaza, and the two and the Nova kidnapped that were returned, and Yair Levi that was returned, and all the stories that were with us until the last person was returned a few months ago. But that was just the beginning. We thought it's the beginning and the end, but it wasn't. And actually, we all know that we don't see the ending in the near future. So I'll try to see our part in Northern Israel vis-a-vis October 7th and what had happened after. So this is a beautiful view of our hospital. This is Haifa, and the view is from south to north. This is the main building of the hospital. And beyond it, here you could see Lebanon, not only Akko, as you mentioned, you could see Lebanon very well, 40 kilometers. And now looking at this picture, there's so much history of Israel embedded here, history of Zionism, history of wars, and history, and not history, the future of innovation of Rambam, all in one photo, beautiful photo at Haifa at night, which is a very beautiful city. I will tell you a little bit more about Haifa afterwards, but as I mentioned before, let's start our story. On October 7th, we all got called into the hospital, 9 o'clock. The whole management was at the hospital, and we were debating what to do. Those of you who don't know, Haifa is very, very, very far from Gaza, from where October 7th war happened that morning, and we felt nothing. There was yet nothing in the north, very quiet. Fortunately, everybody says that Hezbollah didn't join that war, so we were lucky with that. But we were expecting any minute the war to start from the north, and we debated what to do, and we did nothing. Without asking anybody, about 1,000 of our employees came to the hospital just wondering whether they will be needed in the next day, and we did nothing. So we said, let's clean the underground. It's a parking garage. Let's clean our parking garage and have it prepared in case we need it. So we started cleaning a little bit. And then within a day, I don't know if you guys remember, there were small exchanges of fire across the border in Lebanon, which became heavier and heavier. And within the first month, the majority of the citizens of Israel from the northern border, 4 kilometers from the northern border, were removed to Haifa, to Tel Aviv, to Tiberias, to the rest of the country. And unfortunately, till today, more than half of them did not return. During those few days, 23rd October, we decided to move as the gunfire shots across the border with Lebanon got heavier. We said, let's move the pediatric dialysis patients to the underground hospital. Why? Dialysis water is a very special water that need to be treated. We didn't think when we built the hospital, it's going to be actually a war. We built it hoping never to use it. Unfortunately, as you see, we did use it, and we do use it a lot. And so we had treated water only for one building, either the pediatric building or the underground. So because we thought that in case there's a missile hit the hospital, we won't be able to move people in the middle of dialysis. We said, at least the children, let's move them. They spent several months. Well, there's still no war with Haifa in the underground hospital just because of the water issue. So look at the timeline here. It's very important. September 22nd, look at this, almost a year later. We're still above ground. Everything in the north happens close to the border. People are suffering, people remove them, but Haifa is not part of the war yet. We get call from the Ministry of Health and from the military say, get to the hospital now, it's a Sunday morning. Move the hospital to the underground. If anybody in the crowd knows why, we didn't know what they wanted from us, what had happened. We called everybody that we knew. Everybody in Israel knows somebody that knows somebody, and we try to change the order, because look, it's far away from us. Leave us alone. Moving 1,000 patients to the underground hospital is a big deal. Please. And yet they said, please do as you're ordered. Move everybody down right now. Within 2 days, we had 3 more hospitals join us. I will tell you a little bit later, but we host routinely more hospitals that do not have are not able to fortify themselves and not able to protect the patients, and they come to stay with us when there is war and there is missile attack on Israel. And they moved, look, 2 days after, 3 more hospitals were in the underground hospital with us. Anybody knows what had happened on the 27th? We eliminated Hassan Nasrallah. Obviously, they're not going to tell us before that why they want us in the underground hospital. But obviously, the second that happened, with all the headquarters of Hezbollah hit in Dahya area in Beirut, when that happened, we knew there's going to be a full war with Lebanon. And within hours, missiles were shot at Haifa, a lot of missiles. And we were already in the underground, fortified, well protected, taking good care of our patients. This is almost a year past October 7th, when the war with Lebanon broke, and we exchanged fire. Who is not mentioned yet? Which country is mentioned yet? Will be mentioned soon. You'll see.
Iran,
of course, and not mentioned yet. So that operation, there's so many names to wars now. When I was young, we used to remember 3 wars: Independence, 6 Days, and Yom Kippur War. But a lot has happened since. We have only 4 or 5 names since October 7th. So this is Northern Arrows started. Northern Arrows was the exchange of fire between us and Lebanon. Heavy fires. Haifa was hit almost every day. We spent almost every night, once or twice, in the bomb shelter, all of us, or in the safe room, those of us who have safe rooms within their houses. Within 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, we gradually returned, because some understanding again with Lebanon. No more long-range missiles shot, only allowed exchange of fire across the border within several kilometers on both sides. But then Israel, when we had a chance and we targeted somebody in Beirut, we did it, and then we got hit in Haifa. But most of the hospital was above ground. So think about it. We had part of the hospital back above ground, and only the patients who absolutely could not move or take care of themselves, like ICU patients, ventilated patients, stayed in the underground. Above ground, we had about 2/3 of the hospital in regular floors, not fortified. And where there's alarm, we used to push whoever we can push to a whatever we call relatively safe area next to the elevator pier, where some patients couldn't. And we had, for the first time in the history of Israel, I remember this ethical dilemma, and we discussed it a lot. After being in the underground 3 weeks is very uncomfortable for our patients. And we said the risk of having patients above ground is very small. So did the intelligence said that the missile would not hit the hospital. In case, though, there is an alarm, all the personnel have to move themselves to a safe area. And the rationale behind it is, in case something happens, we need you to treat who's hurt. You cannot protect the patients with your bodies or anything like that. So better take care of yourself. Take whoever patients you can with you to the safe area. And then when the siren is over, go back to the patient's room. Hate to mention that a lot of our staff didn't feel comfortable with the orders that we got, but we did it. A lot of dilemmas. Patients under sedation with endoscopies had to be left alone. The anesthesiologist did not leave them, but everybody else left the room. Not the usual situation physicians or nurses or anybody who works at the hospital is used to. I'm happy to say, since then we went 3 more wars, which I'll go through, but we didn't have the situation again, and we never had to deal with it. We decided we're going to move patients up or down only when it's fully safe. So let's continue with the timeline here. As I mentioned, October 7th, the minute, you guys have to know, the minute we go above ground, all of our employees, we have 6,300 employees at Rambam. And it's very difficult to park in the area. It's a very dense neighborhood. So during the time that we have the hospital on the ground, there's no parking. Everybody parks in the neighborhood or whatever parking lot that Rambam Hospital got for them, and they walk to the. So the minute we move the patients back up, everybody wants to know, when are you going to open the parking garage? And so we always try to gather as many people as we can to try and open the garage, have the facility open for our employees, and mainly for our patients. Look at this. November 24th, June 13th, guys, June 13th, 8 months later, we're above ground, 8 months, no war, no missiles, no sirens, nothing. We wake up that morning, a siren. Anybody remembers what had happened that day? June 13th, what happened that started the Rising Lion War? What happened? So the Rising Lion is the first time the United States Air Force and the Israeli Air Force attacked 3 nuclear facilities in Iran that were able potentially to develop atomic weapons, nuclear weapons, and they were attacked that day. And this time, we were not told before to go to the underground. Everybody was afraid that somebody will leak this information to Iran or Lebanon, and they will get ready. So nobody told us, but the sirens, when the airplanes left the country, we had the sirens, and we were told to move to the underground. And by the time the airplanes were back, 12 or 15 waves of attacks that day, we were already in there underground in the same routine that I mentioned before. For 2 or 3 weeks, we were down. I'm sorry, for 6 weeks, we were down there. For 6 weeks, we were down there. And then, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a ceasefire agreed, and we all went back above ground. Not for a long time, and then we're already back in February 28th of this year. I don't know if you guys remember that day. Again, we had a chance, and we hit Ali Khamenei, who's the head of the Iran regime, the whole regime. And we knew that there's going to be retaliation by Iran, and not soon enough, we were attacked by many missiles, including Haifa, Tel Aviv, every place in Israel, a lot of heavy missile, not the ones that came from Lebanon. There is a difference between the missiles that come from Lebanon and the missiles that come from Iran. The missile from Lebanon, 50, 60, 70, 100 kilos versus half a ton to 1 ton missiles that cause extreme damage. A lot of the buildings that were hit back then are not repaired yet, including some buildings in Haifa. So we went down to the underground again on February 28th, and we stayed down there this time till April, I think April 8th. This is how long we stayed, and a lot of missiles at that time. And we had over 1,000 patients in the underground, including the 4 hospitals. Amazing procedure. Every major television and station in the world, I'm serious, came to see us and had a lot of, I'll try to show a little bit afterwards, some of the reports that came from our underground amazing facility. Guys, June 8th, it's only 3 weeks ago. We had the 17-hour war. a few minutes before the agreement, Israel has shot a few missiles on the Dahya in Beirut, and immediately we were told to go to the underground hospital. We started moving the hospital. Halfway through, people already heard in the news that it's not real, it's going to end. The United States is going to force a ceasefire again. And we took our time moving patients down. Thank God we didn't move everybody. Half of the patients came down. And the next day, we moved everybody back up. That was the shortest
one here.
stay.
About Rambam, how they moved everyone.
That was the shortest stay that we had in the underground hospital. So, and then again, I don't know if you remember, on June 14th, moments before the ceasefire, again, Israel had a strike on the Dahya in Beirut, and we were not ordered to go down to the underground. They knew what we didn't know, but we, the management, we didn't trust anybody anymore. We stayed none of us went home that night. We stayed in the hospital just to see what is going to happen. Ever since the first time we went to the underground back in 24, the level -3, it's a 3-level underground hospital, is kept till today, as we speak, clear of cars. So if we need to go back down within 8 hours, we can do it. The whole hospital, it's an amazing thing to see. I will show you some movies and maybe you can understand how we do it. And here, I just put here June 30th, it's today, to be continued, just because truly, I'm telling you truly, it could happen tonight or tomorrow that the war breaks again and we go down and we don't trust anybody anymore, but we are definitely prepared, just like good scouts. A little bit flashback at the history of Haifa and the wars with Lebanon. This is Haifa, those of you who remember the map, the geographical map of Israel. This tips into the sea, points into the sea, into the Mediterranean that is right here. This is Haifa, and we face Lebanon. It's only 40 kilometers away. We at Rambam take care of 12 more hospitals in the northern region of Israel. We're the only tertiary care hospital. Those of you who are not in the medical field, tertiary care means that we have all fields of medicine covered: neurosurgery, heart surgery, thoracic surgery, trauma, transplant, everything we have. And every severe injury in the area, not only war, majority, by the way, is motor vehicle accidents, is transported in the north to our hospital. It's not the same in the center in Tel Aviv or in Jerusalem, where they have several big tertiary care hospitals. In the north, we're the only one, and we feel responsible for everybody. We never, ever refuse a patient that another hospital calls us, we want to transfer. We take everybody. That's our job. That's our responsibility. And this is what we do. I want to take you a little bit more flashback to 2006, Lebanese Second War. First time in the history of Israel, a major city is being attacked heavily. We wake up in the morning, and within those 3 weeks, 60, 70 missiles hit around the hospital. One of them really at the entrance to the hospital. And we didn't have any facility yet. We moved all the patients to a basement, like a regular basement. And our CEO at the time, Rafi Biar, said, never again. It's a common slogan in with the Jewish people, never again. But he truly said never again. And he swore he's going to build a facility that's going to respect the patients that we have and give them normal hospital conditions. So he decided to build an underground hospital. Now, what are we ever going to use an underground hospital? We're never going to use it. So we'll build a hospital and we will convert it into a parking garage. And this is exactly what had happened. So it cost us about 10 times the price of building a regular parking garage. We built a hospital in the underground, 3 levels, 20,000 square meters of hospital, 3 levels, equipped with modern state-of-the-art equipment, amazing facility. This is what had happened. Haifa is a very, very unique place. Haifa has about 20% of Arabs, used to be in the past mostly Christians. Now the majority are Muslims. There are a lot of Druze, and also it's the holiest city to the Baha'i religion. It's a very special city. Our hospital, about 30 to 40% of the staff, all levels, management to whatever you want, to janitor, all levels, from all religions that I mentioned. Everybody works hand to hand. Everybody treats soldiers. Everybody treats terrorists. Everybody treats everybody that comes in our gates. Everybody, hand in hand. I just had to mention because people sometimes don't understand and don't even know the relationship we have with Arabs at Haifa and the majority of northern Israel. This is how it is. I'm sure you guys know that, but I just have to mention it. This is what the parking garage looks at peacetime. You see cars are parked with different colors and markings, so you could find your car. It's a huge structure. More than 1,500 cars can go in here. And this is what it looks like when we convert it into a hospital. These are a special extensions that come from the ceiling. You see they come down and they serve as plugs and oxygen supply and suction and everything a patient bed has when you enter a patient room in a hospital bed. It was designed for 2,000 beds. Our CEO had a vision that nobody in the area or the rest of the country is going to have a facility that is fortified. And in case there's a war that justifies moving patients to the underground, we will need to take care. So we actually, anyway, it proved to be true. We built for double the capacity that we actually need. We have also 4 state-of-the-art operating rooms. I think I have a photo about that afterwards. I will show you that as well. And it took us from 2006, we opened it for the first time in 2014 as a parking garage, not as a hospital, because there was no war. We didn't expect any war. And actually, the first time we used the hospital is when COVID hit in 2020. And first time we moved all the patients with COVID to the underground, and we actually tested this facility, whether it can or cannot host us in this wonderful facility. We did great. The most patients we had at the time was 150, but we did have ICU patients, ventilated patients, very sick patients. So we proved that the hospital is very, very functional. That is all true until October 7th, where I showed you already that we use the hospital. I may show you a film of, thank God, Haifa. There's a naval base next to Haifa, and in order to build it very fast, as I mentioned before, this is the previous CEO, Mickey, and myself standing there. The soldiers from the base, they know, they come immediately to the hospital. 150 to 300 soldiers every day helped us build the hospital and helped us assemble everything. And all of the soldiers mentioned to their families from letters we got that was the most meaningful thing they did during the war. Help Rambam build the hospital. They moved the patients. Each one of the soldiers went to the floors and moved the patients down. I hope it's in the movie and you could see it. As you know, in Israel, female and male soldiers serve hand in hand, side by side. And within a few hours, we had this all built and ready for patients to be moved down. Operating rooms, I'm just showing you a few parts. And it's truly, I mean, next time you guys come, you should definitely come to Haifa. It is, by the way, if you are in Tel Aviv, you do not need a passport to go to Haifa. It is still within the borders of Israel. Okay, so a lot of Israelis don't even know that. They don't think that Haifa is part of the country, and Tel Aviv is everything in Israel. Maybe a little bit Jerusalem. So please come in. It's just, by the way, also a beautiful city, beautiful beaches. There's a lot to see besides Rambam, but we have become a very good attraction when you come to Haifa. We would love to host you and show you around. This is what it looks like when it's built. Anyone has an idea what are these huge things here? Anyone? Scream, yell. This is the air conditioning. Parking garage anywhere in the world, even in the richest area, do not have air conditioning. We are a hospital. We have to have an air conditioning. This is the management room. This is where we sit in -3 every day, meet all of us here, all 4 hospital management sit here and start the day. Facilities, showers, toilets. And again, look at the ceiling, look above the ceilings. There is oxygen line. This is Israel. Children are very important to us. All of our staff, if they wanted to, they could come to work with their children. And we had a daycare center, which we hosted over 500 children every day, took care of them, ages 3 months to 12 years, because there's no schools, as you all understand, during that period. So our staff felt very comfortable to come and stay at the hospital, while they knew that the children are very, very, very well protected in the underground hospital. The only rule was you could not visit your children during work. Otherwise, your children would go crazy, which some of them did. This is the operating room. We have 4 operating rooms in the underground hospital that were used mainly for emergency cesarean sections. We had a very big delivery room in the underground. Over 150 babies were born during that period. Amazing, beautiful. I interviewed almost every woman that gave birth. Almost each one I interviewed, they all loved it. They did not complain. They felt they were very safe. And we felt we were very proud of the facility we gave them. Dialysis. As you guys know, I don't know in England, but definitely in Israel, most of the dialysis units are outside the hospitals, in the community. All of them are not fortified. So we brought all the ambulatory facilities in northern Israel, all of them, into the hospital in 5 shifts, day and night, 24/7. We did dialysis for those patients. Each unit came with their own machines, their own team to take care of their own patients. It was amazing cooperation to see that. Really, really, really good time of Israel. Really good time of Israel, the medical world. The pediatric dialysis unit, those children come every day, 5 days a week to be dialyzed. We could not leave them outside, and they were not safe anywhere else. That was their house for that period. A lot of soldiers that came. Very common for soldiers to come with the flags of the unit. This is Golani unit. We have routinely talks between soldiers with different units, teasing each other. We have a lot of fun with that, alongside their very, very severe injuries that they had suffered. Some from the media.
The past several years have been extraordinarily challenging for Israel, marked by sustained security threats and the immense ongoing effort of the Israel Defense Forces to safeguard the country's borders and civilian population. Our recent war with Iran, Operation Roaring Lion, and the continuing conflict with its proxy Hezbollah require constant readiness for red alert conditions. As Northern Israel's sole tertiary hospital and level 1 trauma center, Rambam received and promptly treated large numbers of critically injured patients during missile attacks and extended periods of intense conflict.
הם ילדים גיבורים שעשו בשבילנו, שבהם מטופלים היו מעל הקרקע במרחבים לא ממוגנים.
During Operation Roaring Lion, Rambam treated 10,000 patients, including soldiers wounded in action, and urgently airlifted to the hospital's helipad. The Fortified Underground Emergency Hospital was rapidly mobilized within hours, where dedicated expert staff cared for the community in its time of need, while absorbing patients and medical teams from 4 neighboring, unfortified hospitals for more than a month. Israel continues to prevail, demonstrating resilience, unity, and the ability to protect life, even in the face of sustained danger. When Israel is tested, Rambam is ready.
So those from different medias that, by the way, that was the lady that you saw in a lot of the footage is Michal Mekel, who's the new CEO of the hospital for the last, since about 6 months, I guess. She's been CEO, and she's doing a great job. Already had a war, unfortunately, under her belt. That was after a few days only into her position. We had to go to the underground. That was her first test, and she did great. This is what it looks like. It's a few photos. Look at it. Get an idea of how dense it is. This is Israel. Remember, when there is a patient in the hospital, Jews, Christian, Muslim, people visit. And when I say people visit, it's the whole village comes to visit. And not enough that it's so heavily populated down there to see all the families, but we let everybody come. We felt it's very important to be, after all, there are no windows, you don't see day or night. Yeah, it's like Las Vegas, you don't know what time it is. So we really felt it is very important to let families come and visit. And a lot of our staff serves as military physicians and nurses, and up to more than 200 of our staff at any given time were drafted into the war and served the country in the field, both in Gaza and in Lebanon. One of these people a few days ago died in Lebanon, one of our employees. Very sad. We went to his village in Pki'in. He's Druze, by the way. We went to his village in Pki'in in the Galil Mountains, visited his family. We cried together. It was really sad. And we lost about 6 members so far since the beginning of this war. I would like to change a little bit the phase of the conversation. We're not all about war, terror, and trauma. A lot of great minds at Rambam. We have a lot of innovation at Rambam. We are one of the leading hospitals in the country with regard to research. And I'll try to show you just a few, very few examples. Lemaka is a very special biopsy that was developed by our physicians. Last month started selling. We got actual real money from selling this product for biopsy of the pancreas through an endoscopy. I don't know if you don't know what it is, it's okay. I'm just trying to show you we're the leaders in the world on research on cannabis, and hopefully in the next few months or years, you're going to see some products with Rambam logo on it. We have the #1 researcher for cannabis in the world working for us. And Lemaka was a device, the HTV splitter is a very special device for splitting cusps after implanting aortic valve in a TAVI procedure. I'm sorry if it doesn't say much to you, but just trying to show you how innovative our physicians are. Icon. You know what? Before I'm telling you about Icon, I'm personally involved. So is Inbar, by the way, with this innovation. A couple at our hospital, a husband and wife, 2 physicians. She's an anesthesiologist that we worked together and we shared the research for Icon. Her husband, Goded, who is the brain behind all this. Look at the movie. We'll talk a little bit afterwards.
As a teenager, Benji was always a very nice, good boy. He loved to skateboard and swim, not into like major sports. As a student, he was okay. Benji, before he got hurt, was doing very well in Golani, doing whatever he needs to do, Shmira, whatever, just going with the flow. We got a phone call saying he was hurt, but he was okay, not sure. And then we got a phone call a few hours later saying he was going into surgery and we should get on the next plane to come here. We didn't quite know what was going on at all. We had no idea until we got to Rambam. He was injured while doing Shmira on Hardov, and a missile fell and a shrapnel went into his head. We probably met Dana right away while Benjamin was coming out of a coma. And she introduced the icon to see if there was any brain stimulation.
ICON is a novel EEG and EMG-based system that enables early rehabilitation in the ICU by helping patients with reduced consciousness to communicate through intentional blinking. The ICON is operated by families with remote professional guidance. It allows them to actively participate in the recovery process.
And as he started to, we saw it on the graph, we were like, amazing, amazing, amazing. He's waking up, it's all good, slowly, slowly, slowly.
With ICON, families often see, perhaps for the first time, that their loved one is truly present, not just a comatose patient.
We practiced the icon while we were here in Rambam for 10 weeks.
The system offers hope and helps shift the patient's path from long-term nursing care to meaningful rehabilitation.
It's relearning everything, but he is. He is. And it's amazing to see the progress from where he was to where he is now. It's unbelievable. And when they told us the two words, Zman and Savlanut, they're not joking. And I never knew what that would be, but I understand it now. I feel relieved. I feel that it's beyond unimaginable. It's hard. But at the end of the day, he's here. He's amazing. And he hopefully will be back to where he was.
Those of you who want to take a quick snap at this, if you want to learn more about ICON, this is the time to do it. If not, Inba will give you all the information afterwards. And I just wanted to show you that it's not the innovation that we have also helps soldiers. We started this instrument is an EEG machine that Goded is so bright. He's the first one who was able to find in the world, the whole world, the center of attention in the brain, which some people think it is a center of our life attention. So many things are responsible and happen to us because of attention. And he's able to pinpoint where it is and to target. So what happens today, you guys have to know that a lot of startups in the world get sold before they even sell one product or it's just an idea. We sell ICON treatment every day to new patients that come in coma into ICUs in the whole country. Dana and the team, we go all over the country to diagnose, and we could tell within minutes, we put it on the head and we say, yes, there is a viable patient underneath and let's work with him. We may be able to wake him up. And just to show you, these hospitals, Ichilov, Sheba, Soroka, Sharetz, routinely call us when somebody they think has a chance. And before that, we're automatically sent to some facility for the rest of their life, like many did in the past. We were able to wake up close to 40 or 50 patients now. A lot of them are soldiers. This guy, look at him, trached. This is Benji lighting candles. Look at this guy. Look at him right here. Look at him running a marathon after a few months. It's not a day deal. We're talking about months that it takes to wake them up. Look at this guy, an officer, what he looked before. His father worked, the family worked with him hours and hours and hours. Look at the letter this guy wrote to Dana. You could read it yourself, but he's picking up his little sister from school, and that's the only wish he had. And before I end, every soldier that is hospitalized at Rambam, before they go home, we have 2 lines at the department, and we show our gratitude to what they did. Matanel here, if you notice, I don't know if you'll see it in a second, lost both. He's the first soldier that came during this war, spent a lot of months with us, and a week ago he left the hospital. By the way, Jews and Arabs, physician, nurses on the lines on both sides, everybody together. We're treating patients like everybody's supposed to. Matanel left a week ago. He will get legs soon, I hope. I hope within 3 or 4 months he will have legs to walk on. One of our most severe injured patients came basically dead, and we are very happy and very excited to see him leave the hospital. Thank you, guys, and I will now open it for some questions, if you wish to.
Well, thank you, if I may call you Avi. Thank you very much for such an insightful and inspirational presentation about exactly what Rambam is. And it's clear that it is so much more than a hospital. It's a family of people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all religions, and I'm sure I'm not alone. I'm sure I speak for everyone here in the audience that it's just so heartwarming to hear how it's a model of coexistence in Israel, and the polar opposite of what's portrayed, of how Israel is portrayed in the global arena. A place where miracles happen, a place where miracles are just happening, and very emotional towards the end. I'm very sorry to hear about the 6, I think you mentioned, colleagues that Rambam has lost since the war started. Please God, that would be the end of it. Please God. I noticed that no one in the audience has yet put up their hand to ask any questions. So whilst people have a think about what they might like to ask. Sorry, Avi, go on.
If I want to mention one more thing. The mechanism of injury for us as physicians has changed dramatically. We were used to military injuries as high velocity from like weapons, a gunshot wound. So what happens, the mechanisms, the bullet goes through the body to an end target and makes the most damage that area, and that's it. And since the wars with Ukraine, that has completely changed the war between Russia and the Ukraine, drones are being used. And now the Hezbollah learned it too. And almost all of the soldiers that we got in the last 6 months were injured from drones. The mechanism of injury is a little bit different. It is a blast trauma or multiple shrapnels all over the body. Hopefully, most of them are superficial, but some of them enter the abdomen, the brain, as you saw, and many other areas. And the ones that hit directly cause amputation. And we saw so many amputees I've never seen before. And this country will have to face that, and we're going to see them on our streets for many, many years from now.
Heartbreaking. Avi, if I may, I see that we've now got a couple of people who would like to put a question to you. I'm just going to start off with one of my own, if that's okay. I want to ask you, if another hospital anywhere in the world wanted to prepare for the kind of missile threat that Israel has faced for so many years now, what would you say are the 3 most important lessons Rambam has learned?
So I think the number 1, 2, and 3 is be prepared. Assume the worst. If you're in a war zone, don't assume it's not going to happen. Assume the worst. Number 2, you need a lot of people. You need a lot of people to help set up. And I didn't mention it, but there's a siren in Haifa. 3,000 of our employees drive to the hospital. Nobody calls them. Nobody tells them. They go in the car and they come because they know there might be an issue soon and we will need them. They just sit there peacefully, quietly, and wait. And then if they're not needed, they drive back home. So number 2 and number 3, get drilled. We were drilled since 2014. I didn't mention it till 2020. Nothing happened. There was peace, no COVID we were drilled by the military at least twice a year. And we did understand why, because being prepared and drilling is very important. Number three, which is very, very important, it's very important to try and make it as comfortable for your staff as possible. Staff are a major issue during times like this. We faced difficult times. A lot of PTSD with our staff, a lot of fear, anxiety. We try to treat our staff very well. In Bar here is very modest, but she brought us a lot of, as you saw, musicians, a lot of goodies, a lot of ice cream. Every day there's something happening. We had rest areas, couches, just to make our staff comfortable. All of our psychology team, we have a very big psychology school. They were used on our staff way more than our patients. And we found that they were very, very helpful from the get start. We put them in the different departments. We addressed the staff ourselves. We called them in, address them, start talking to them and get ideas from them, how they're doing, what's going on at home. Do you have loved ones in the military? Half of our staff also had loved ones in the military. Very difficult times.
Thank you. It's mind-boggling the extent of effect that it has, from patients to staff to everything. Fascinating. So Avi, I'm going to call upon Barry Epstein. If you can unmute yourself, Barry. Barry, yeah.
Hello,
Okay.
can you hear me, Steve?
Yes, we can. There seems to be a bit of an echo, but go ahead.
Professor Weissman.
No. Avi, can you hear Barry? No. Barry, there's something going on with your microphone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on mute, and then I'll come back to you in a few moments. Have a play around with your sound. And we'll go over to Susan. Could you please unmute yourself? There you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your talk. It was really very inspiring. I've been reading the Times of Israel, and they sometimes advertise that soldiers who have been injured have a really difficult time getting the proper care that they need. And there's some kind of lawyers organization which helps them get the care that they need. Is that what you see where you are?
I've not experienced that. Soldiers are being taken care of very, very well, way, way better, which they deserve than the regular citizen, especially during times like this. If we don't have the right prosthesis, they get sent to many places in the world, United States, England, Australia, to whatever place, and whatever money needs to be paid is being paid by the country. So I'm not sure. We are facing an issue of soldiers with PTSD since October 7th. And that's a major psychological issues have become very major. So that may be sometimes more difficult to treat than true physical injuries.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Barry, let's go back to you and see if you've lost that echo. Barry, can you unmute? There you go.
Can you hear me, Steve?
No, it's still playing up. Barry, perhaps you can just type your question into the chat and I'll ask it on your behalf if you like. Have a go at doing that. I'll keep an eye out in the chat, and in the meantime, I'm just going to ask Avi another question that has just occurred to me, if that's okay. So you know, over the past, well, almost 3 years, you've been operating under a state of war, under wartime conditions at Rambam. Has that, you know, mobilizing to go underground, come back above ground, go back underground, etc., has that led Rambam to develop any innovations or procedures that have led to like an overall improved healthcare, even in peacetime when you're above ground?
Unfortunately, trauma surgery, trauma care is very basic and well described. The few things that came out of this war and were published all over the world is, number one, use whole blood. You know, when you give blood, when you donate blood, they take it and they separate it to its different parts: plasma, blood, and platelets. So they separated. And we found out that giving whole blood initially, very fast, the outcome and the mortality rate goes down dramatically. It's now published all over the world and it's known. The other thing that I didn't mention during the conversation, and you remind me, the only one of the few things that we didn't need to move to the underground were our operating rooms. We have 24 fortified operating rooms above ground. We are the only hospital in Israel that provided close to 100% care as in peacetime, just because of that. And if Israel wants to be prepared, and now there's a law, by the way, it's a law in Israel. Every operating room that's being built has to be fortified, and every ICU, intensive care unit, has to be fortified. I think it's just, it triples the cost of build, but it's just, I mean, medicine doesn't stop just because there's war. There's still cancer, there's still diseases out there, and people need to be treated. Cancer patients, they voted by foot. They came to the hospital during missiles. They needed their treatment, and they got it, and they were protected. What about the rest of the country? When there's no fortified areas, people just didn't get care. And I think if that's what is meant by not being, the country is not really yet well prepared, this is something that needs to be done. Unfortunately, I don't foresee very soon a full peace in this region. Unfortunately, I'm saying that I wish it was. And so we need to be prepared, and this is what we need to do.
Okay, thank you, Avi. Okay, so we've got a few more questions. So I'm going to call on Christopher Pickford. If you could, okay, you've unmuted. Christopher, put your question across, please.
Hello, Avi. Could you tell me, how are you funded? Is it entirely by the government or other means? How do you get your money to finance your hospital?
We're still fighting for the money from the government. It costs a lot of money just to move up and down. Eventually, it gets settled. As you understand, the whole country loses money at this time. Export didn't go down that much because of most of the export of Israel is now high tech, and it's continued, thank God. But a lot of services are missing. The government lacks money, and definitely we're underpaid. But eventually something happens and we get our money back. It's a government hospital, and they're supposed to take care of us. And for most of the times they do. I have to admit they do. They do compensate us. There's a lag of several months, sometimes years, before we get the full compensation. But I don't know if that's what you meant by your question or I didn't get it. But
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Rosalind.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Weissman. Wonderful and fascinating presentation. But there was one thing you said, I hope I misheard it, but I don't think I did, not connected with war, but connected with the number of injuries from road accidents. And you said one of the largest number of patient numbers you have are connected with that. Was I correct in hearing you?
Steve, was the question about the number of patients hit by drones? Was that the question?
To do with transport, to do with car accidents and
I meant in peacetime.
in peacetime. Yeah.
In peacetime, most trauma that we see is motor vehicle accidents and not wounded soldiers by war. Very few soldiers in between wars get hurt by firearms. Very few, hardly any.
So what sort of numbers do you have? I mean, what proportion of your patients, I'm not talking about cancer patients, but people who have injuries, what proportion are there that come in from road accidents? Because I know that Israel's always had a problem with impatience on the roads.
That is correct. A lot of motor vehicle, one good thing, nothing good about war. During wartime, the number of motor vehicle accidents go down dramatically. People either didn't go out of their houses, very few cars on the streets. But during a regular time, I'd say a ratio of 10-1 on motor vehicle accidents to wounded, trauma, military wounded people that come to the hospital, about 10-1 ratio.
Okay, Rosalind, is that that's you done, is it?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this evening. It's just after 10 o'clock for you, so we're keen to let you get back to your family and perhaps bed.
Excuse me, can I say something? This is Inbar from Rambam. I'm sorry
Yes,
for
Inbar,
not
please
having.
do.
Sorry for not being on video. It's too late for me to show myself now. So, but I work in international relations and fundraising, and I'd like just to add to this amazing presentation. And thank you so much, Dr. Weissman. That one, we have for 40 years British Friends of Rambam, which are supporting us and is a very lean organization, all based on volunteers. Samantha Rose is with us, and every and each one of you is invited to host an event in his home, raise awareness in his community, ask for material, digital materials, brochures that we can send, whatever you can do to spread out the word. And we have a lot to tell. You just saw a glimpse of what we have. So this is one. And feel free to contact amazing Samantha, and thank you so much for whatever you do. Second thing is I just wanted to clarify, and it's not that I'm raising funds now, but when Avi mentioned the support of the government, it's for maintenance only. For all the amazing facilities you saw basically mostly the Fortified Underground Emergency Hospital, but we have a whole campus with new buildings and the most cutting edge design, and part of them, yes, some of them are from 1938, from the British mandate, yeah, but are all based on donations. Part of them are also from British philanthropists, but mostly from Israel and the States. And we do a lot in this field, also for medical equipment and to build those fortified area in for example, we're building now a fortified ICU, which is it seems like everyone should have it in northern Israel, but we are building it based on funds, so on raising funds. So that's another thing. And the third thing that I wanted to add is that we have the Israeli International Trauma School, because we are the only level 1 trauma center in northern Israel. And we spread the word and go around to every country that invites us to teach mass casualty situation management and trauma management, because as you saw, we are experts in this. So if you have any connection with British hospitals that you would like to invite us, I'm sure the professionals from Rambam would love to teach, help, share the information, and that's it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Inbar. Thank you very much. And we will, well, certainly when we send out the recording tomorrow, we'll certainly be sharing details of the British Friends of Rambam. So anyone who wants to reach out can do so. So as I said earlier, we want to be able to let you go and have whatever remains of your evening to yourself. But before we do, I would just like to hand over to our chairman, Roger Walters. So Roger, are you with us?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks, Steve. Well, it's been an amazing evening, I have to say. A lot of thanks to Dr. Avi and Inbal. And, maybe we'll have a chance to meet up with you guys. Maybe one of our delegations will pop in and see you. It would be really nice. And also to spend some more time up in the north. Thank you very much once again.
I was
afraid.
Roger, I was afraid for a second it's Roger Waters, which is
yeah.
Then I saw it's Walter, so then I calmed down.
Yeah.
Well, it's close, but unfortunately we come from we're completely opposites. So anyway, thank you very much to our audience for coming along again. I'm sure you were very wizened up to the hospital and what goes on in it, and it's an amazing facility. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Good night.